Hey guys, Scott Fishman here for Wrestling Inc. And today we have someone who's been on quite a streak, quite a run the last couple of weeks on NXT. Raquel Gonzalez. Hey, how you doing, Raquel?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Scott. It's a pleasure to be talking to you.
Thank you. So just a couple of weeks ago, right before Halloween Havoc, we actually talked leading into your match with Rhea Ripley and just what an important match that was for you. And both of you really put on an incredible match, and a lot of people, anytime you guys get in the ring together, there's just something special about it. Tell me about do you feel that was kind of a big turning point for you when it came to your career and just all that's happened the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I definitely feel like Halloween Havoc was a big turning point in my career because it opened a lot of people's eyes. It opened their eyes to something I already knew, and that was that I belong in the ring with the best. Rhea Ripley is one of the best. Io Shirai is one of the best. Both of them have competed on big stages in Raw and SmackDown and WrestleMania, and that Halloween Havoc match really put me on the map to show that I can handle my own, and that Raquel Gonzalez is not just Big Mommy Cool. Raquel Gonzalez is here to make a statement, and that statement is that I could be your next NXT Women's Champ. I could be your next Raw or SmackDown Women's Champ.
And tell me about the feedback that you got with your match with Rhea Ripley. Was there anyone that kind of went out of their way to reach out to you that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is like letting me know what they think of my match and how much they enjoyed it?
Yeah, one I saw, or actually I should say one that I heard of the next day on Twitter was actually from the Dudley Boys, from their podcast, and they were really talking about our match and how it was something that was very hard-hitting for a women's match. And they talked a lot about, my lariats and my strength and my big moves, and that really, really hit home for me because being here at the Performance Center for 4 years, I have been putting in the man hours day in and day out, and the lariat definitely was my finish beforehand. So to know that people are recognizing that that is something that I do and that it is something that I do very, very well really made me feel good about Halloween Havoc.
And then you just fast forward to the WarGames match and the NXT TakeOver and just the performance you had there. You and Dakota and all the women actually really stood out in that match. But you got the pinfall for your team. I mean, a lot of people are looking at that as a turning point for you as you move into being considered a serious threat for the Women's Championship. Talk about just that environment, just being a part of it. I mean, even we just put in perspective that, even just a couple of years ago, women involved in these kind of matches were not a regular occurrence. And now, there were exceptions to the rule, but now this is kind of a regular thing. And then you guys just taking the ball and really running with it, and you standing tall with your team. Just tell me what that night was like and just being involved in that match, watching matches of WarGames prior, but then actually being in one after.
Yeah, it wasn't even just that night. It was that entire day. It was that entire weekend. The pressure was definitely on to go out there and put on an outstanding performance, especially because of the fact that the 8 women in the ring all have so much history and experience and are incredible women's wrestlers, the best in the business. And most of them were actually in WarGames the year before, and that was something I had really wanted to be a part of but didn't get the opportunity to. So going into this WarGames, I was excited. I was anxious. I was all of the feelings. And just being out there and having, the little bit of crowd that we did and the people behind the scenes supporting us, it was not like anything I've ever done before. A basketball game can go on for, a good hour, 2 hours. This match was maybe about an hour long, and it did not feel like that. It went by so quickly, and everything was just high impact and high intensity. And I remember just, getting a hit to the face 1 minute and then seeing Dakota Kai jump off the top turnbuckle onto a trash can onto Io Shirai the next. And then seeing Rhea Ripley get hit with a trash can pop from a super kick by Candice, and then, going into trying to stop Io, and then she's trying to hit with a Rana, and then me just trying to hold on for dear life to pick her up. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. There were so many things going through my mind, even thinking about it right now, like just all of the moments and the crazy, insane things that these women and, myself included, that we do. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And to know that I came on top in WarGames was one of the best memories of the year so far.
And you're being involved in a lot of physical matches. I mean, just talk about just your regimen and staying in shape and just when injuries or things happen and just making sure that you you are maintaining that shape. I mean, you're in a unique situation now with where you guys are performing in the same spot, but it's a regular weekly grind beyond just, you're not doing the touring per se, but you're involved in these physical matches. And speaking with even Braun Strowman, who's been a big supporter of yours, and just talking about your work ethic and just all the time that you put into everything that you do, just give us a peek as far as just the time you've been putting in, especially the last couple of weeks, to maintaining that you are in top shape heading into these matches.
I'm definitely trying to keep to a good regimen, something that's been working for me, since June when I started it this year, because it's had me feeling very good going into these matches and coming out of them, and that is sticking to a strict lifting schedule, sticking to a very strict diet, something that keeps my energy up, but it's also not making me feel, like I'm lagging or anything like that. So eating a lot of clean foods, hydrating regularly so that I'm not cramping up. I love to eat pickles because pickles are good for the cramps, and they're a salty electrolyte, so that really helps me too after a match. But I've also been regularly going to a recovery room and even here at the PC and just rolling out, stretching, getting in an infrared sauna if I can, going and trying to get someone to help me stretch and do these massages on, because you're right, it's physical. It's so physical on the body, and things are going to hurt, but that's part of it, and that's okay. It's just getting in there and stretching it out and moving on to the next thing. And I'm so lucky my apartment has a jacuzzi, because the jacuzzi has really been helping me out too.
Very nice. And, you had a big win coming off a match with Ember Moon as well. And then just over the last couple of months, you've really broken out. A lot of people compare you to the similar dynamic that you have with Dakota Kai with Diesel and Shawn Michaels, and now we're kind of seeing that kind of break away a little bit. How do you kind of see the dynamic between the two of you changing, with you both kind of having a similar goal in mind and you being, close to achieving that in the Women's Championship?
I would say from the beginning of the year when Dakota and I decided to, join in a union, she really took me under her wing, because Dakota has an immense amount of experience. She has so much knowledge, and that girl is 150% the most resilient woman in NXT. So working with her and learning from her and being a part of her team has really helped push me to the level of my career that I am at now, and I appreciate every single moment of that. Even though her and I are kind of doing our solo type of things, we really haven't looked at it as a solo type of thing. We're looking at it more as like, you're handling your business, I'm handling mine. But at the end of the day, her and I are still a team. We still work as a team, and we still want to compete as a team. So really, we're both going after the same goal. I think we'd both be happy for each other if whoever gets it first, because we know either one of us deserves it. And we're bringing it back to our side anyway. So we would be happy with that too.
Tell me about what it's like to grow right now as a performer. You're so unique in your look and your size as a woman. And then just talking about the past and finding that balance when it comes to your approach to wrestling, where, you want to show your athleticism, but you also want to actually spotlight you being this imposing figure for a woman of your size and being that intense figure as far as your high-impact moves like the lariat, but also, showing the athletic ability of doing top rope moves. Talk about what it's like to work with the coaches at the PC and just making sure that you're doing things that are comfortable for you, but also finding that balance when it comes to your offense.
It is a very unique experience to work with the coaches here at the Performance Center when it comes to finding things that work for you and your body type and your persona, especially, as a taller, bigger woman that's strong. I 100% know that I'm very athletic and I can do many things that all the other girls can do, but at the end of the day, I don't need to do that, because showing my athleticism, I can show that by catching Ember Moon from a top rope eclipse. I can do that by catching Rhea Ripley off of an apron into a cannonball and then picking her back up and still running her into the barricades. I can do that by taking a spear and then trying to find a way to get back up so that I can pull Ember Moon off of a post, catch her over my shoulder, and shoot her into another post. Athleticism isn't just a one-way description. Athleticism can be many things, especially because in this world we have so many different sports and dynamics, and an athlete is a person who goes out there, does their very best, works hard, and shows the dynamic that they bring to the team and that they bring to the performance. And I think I'm doing that with my size and my ability, and it definitely has been something that I've struggled with in the past just because I am so unique, and of course, as a woman growing up different, it never does anything for confidence. But being here at NXT and embracing that and owning that and looking to people like Beth Phoenix and looking to people like Nia Jax, I know that my style is unique and I bring a different type of athleticism to the NXT women's roster.
You talk about Nia Jax and Beth Phoenix. What's the one piece of advice that maybe one of them or another that you can think of gave you that really stuck to you through your entire journey right now through NXT?
I would definitely say it would be from Beth Phoenix when she was a part of the Mae Young Classics and she was here speaking to all of us, and she always told us, to go out there and to own it and to be who we are. And she always gave me great positive, words of affirmation of, when it came to my lifting and me changing my body and me becoming something else. And so to know that she sees that in me with the little bit of time that she has seen me really has helped me build my confidence and boost my, how I feel about myself, because hearing her story too of, what she was going through when she was wrestling with Raw and SmackDown, it really resonates with me, and it makes me feel good to know that someone else has been through that and someone else has made it. And that reassures me that I know that I too can make it to that point and to that level that Beth Phoenix was at.
And as we're heading into the end of the year, everyone talks about New Year's resolutions and goals that they've set for themselves, but also for you as the part of a brand of NXT, it seems like there's such a unique locker room there with everyone pushing each other. What do you think it will take for NXT as far as evolution in 2021 to kind of turn the corner and reach the next level, whether it's the women's division or, from your vantage point, what do you want to see from this brand, from this company, and then yourself in the next year?
Yeah, in the next year, I definitely want to see NXT hopefully get to travel a little bit more and open more audiences' eyes, because I think that's one thing that we need to do at this point in time, since, we're competing on Wednesday nights, but we're also getting a good amount of views. I think to get more views, we just need to open more eyes. I think more people need to see what NXT is about. We have to get the word out. So it's really up to us as the superstars to get that word out to not just the USA, but to other countries, to China, India, Mexico, Canada. So that's something that I look forward to hopefully representing and helping NXT do to get us to that next level. As for myself, the new year, I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself because this year for my career has been shooting up. And so the next year, I don't want to stay stagnant. I want to keep evolving. I want to keep changing. I want to keep learning, and I want to keep growing. And so I'm telling myself that into the new year, I'm going to keep an open mind to the person that Raquel Gonzalez is and what she can do in the ring, whether it's the NXT ring or any other ring that I get the opportunity to step into.
All right. And lastly, you're getting these all opportunities, and it's all coming at you very quickly, like the last couple of weeks. What's kind of been keeping you grounded? Just the thought of you winning the women's championship within, reach right now with you really in the mix, and then knowing just the legacy that you have, with your dad and just the family standing behind you. What are some things that have really kept you grounded as you're kind of these experiences are coming up? And then you have WrestleMania season, you have the Royal Rumble. So what are some things that are really getting through and just kind of putting things in perspective for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been remembering my journey here, because I have been here for 4 years now at the Performance Center since I signed and started. And 4 years doesn't sound like a lot, but it definitely feels like a lot when you are an athlete who has a goal in mind and a goal that you want to obtain. And I like to think I'm patient, but I'm probably not the most patient person that I think I am. And it's definitely been a mental, physical struggle being away from home, only being able to talk to my family on the phone or Zoom with them. And so these 4 years have really taught me a lot, and they're definitely something that I keep in the back of my mind when things like being a part of WarGames and winning WarGames happen, or when I am main eventing NXT and I beat Ember Moon, who was a former NXT Women's Champion. It's still so surreal to me, and I think about my journey here and how my journey is still going and it's still continuing, and I remember that I have faith in what is going to happen for me, and I know that the struggle is not over. There's always going to be struggles, but when there's a struggle, I just have to get through it, and I have to look forward to what's going to happen next and the good that's going to happen next. And when I am in the good, I want to embrace it and be happy about it and feel the experience of being in a good moment in my life. But I also want to know that, it's a struggle to get here and that there will still be more struggles to go. And that's just for everything in life, not just wrestling. It's for every day of my life, every moment of my life, and from here continuing on. I'm just really trying to live in the moment, not forget where I came from, and look forward to what the future has to hold.